Welcome back to Tabula Rasa. This is our comic book review. Based off of these 5 categories, I'm going to give it either a star, or if I really like it, a star plus. A combination of 5 stars or pluses means I recommend it. More than 5 just simply tells you how much I like the book. Do the YouTube thing, feed the algorithm, and here we go. Today we'll be looking at Princess Ugg, written and drawn by Ted Naifeh, colored by Warren Wucinich, edited by Robin Herrera and Jill Beaton, published by Oni Press. You know how they say first impressions last forever? Well, that's the sort of thing that sounds deep, but in reality isn't as true as people think. Impressions can change. Why am I speaking of impressions? Because the most impressive thing I find in this book, at least for an American comic book, is that it is written, drawn, and inked by one guy. Something you don't see very often in the American comic book industry today. So, how does this stack up? Color and black and white. It is safe to say at this point that this color comic isn't just simply colored, but stylized for this genre of fairy tale princesses. It reminds me of those children book style illustration, and the work makes it distinct. Overall, I like it, so I'm giving it a star plus. Panels and expression. We got the rectangles. I am not a big fan of the rectangles and box paneling. But that being said, this was done well, so I can't take any points away for it doing what comic books do. Panels, right? I am not a fan of it, so I can't give it a plus per se, but it does its job. And no 2 pages in this issue are the same. So, well done indeed. So I'm giving it a star. Character and dialogue. So it's set in some sort of medieval fantasy. So the old-timey speak is here. There is a distinction between the Viking-like Princess Ugg speaking in a different style than that high court style thing, which helps sets up the dichotomy between these 2 characters and cultures, and the dialogue doesn't drag all over. So what can I say besides I enjoyed it? Not enough for a star plus, but that kind of depends on how the story goes, so who knows. For now, it is a star. Themes and execution. The theme had been set up from the get-go. We have our stock characters, so we don't need to do too much background, building for them. One is a warrior princess, the other is a damsel in distress type. We see the differences clash. It's a great area to bounce off thematically because there's so much to explore if the author so chooses. Whether it's the more big picture version or to focus on character development, it is a great position to be in, especially for an issue number 1, so I'm giving this a star plus. Plot and execution. Tied with the theme, we have a nice setup for the plot. Princess school, but one of the princesses is a Viking warrior, different from the rest. So how can you not have a series of adventures from that plot setup alone? And I have to admit, this is pretty much my jam, so star plus. Conclusion. 5 stars, 3 pluses. So it's definitely something to recommend. Like I said before, this kind of story is my jam. Retelling stories can be fun because they play with tropes, and kudos to Ted. Like I said earlier, that it isn't common practice for the writer and artist of a comic book to be the same person, at least in American comic books. I know there are people, but let's just face it, the truth is that's not the norm. You get a writer to do the writer, you get an artist to do the artist, you get a letterer to do the letterer. This guy pretty much did all of it on its own, so kudos again. And because he's doing it pretty much all on his own minus the coloring, it provides a sense of stability in the art and consistency in relation to the story. So again, that's a very good thing. This comic did not spend a lot of time on character development, and you know what? That is fine. Instead, it sets up the main conflict being the clash of cultures. So this would be an example of a comic book that focused on the themes more than the character development, at least for issue number 1, and does it well. And using the stock characters of princess types ensures that we can jump straight into the story. We don't need to know a lot about them from the get-go. And should we crave some character development, we can always focus on that later in the slow moments. It is a very good way to continue the story, and it's a very great issue number 1 because there's a lot of areas you can jump off of. So I might actually finish this on what is Comixology, who aren't sponsors, by the way. Thank you for watching this video up to this point. If you did enjoy the content, do the YouTube thing, and help feed the algorithm, I hope you're having a good day or good evening. Ciao, everyone.